So I'm not quite sure what we're going to see. I don't see footage quite yet.
On the right, I just want to say we have Sintro and SkWiirrel. The duck hunt you guys saw on your screen in singles action very recently, escaping, trying to escape pools, and that's SkWiirrel, and Sintro, the Rob, that we saw run a 4-stock comeback in yesterday's crew battle as well. So seeing how these players are all very strong within their own right as singles competitors, I'm expecting to see a lot of 1v1s them try and separate themselves out, because I don't think these guys all treat doubles as the sort of main event that some players do.
No, I definitely do not recognize them as that. But of course we can still be surprised. So I am already seeing a bit of struggling between the teams. Like early on, like Rob tried to get in, but Duck Hunt was there as well, already covering all the options, so there was no need for that.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure how far their synergy goes. But
this is
we have at least 2 games to see.
I've just realised this is a Crom we're seeing from the flow as well. And this means that one member of your team has an incredibly weak recovery, like one stray hit while he's trying to recover back to the stage. And we've just seen Leon lose his first stock, by the way. One stray hit during his recovery while he's on his way back to the stage can cost your team an entire stock.
But I think there's a good reason why Flowy is playing Crom instead of Roy, because normally in the 1v1 you can focus a lot better on getting those hill sweet spots. In double, it's an entirely different situation. You want to cover as much, and with you want to cover much more with much more power. And
we just saw SkWiirrel get his clock cleaned on that left-hand platform right now. He gave the Flow the exact air dodge he wanted. The Flow applied just the tiniest bit of pressure, and he had a charged F smash waiting for his opponent right there. Now back to the action. We've got sword hitboxes flying left, right, and center, and Sintro is going to almost even up. Well, he's going to almost even out the stock count right there. Yeah. He's actually going to put his opponents at a stock deficit.
He's at a very dangerous percentage. Oh, and that's Flow is done. That's very hurtful for his overall set. Yeah. Like, it was looking so well for him. Like, he had 3-stock lead. I was about to say something about it, and before you know it, it's gone.
Yep. And, well, it's still a 2-stock lead. Red team both down onto their last legs, but the blue team still have that all-important share stock, just in case the last one of them gets eliminated. Oh, Leon, absolutely ready.
Both of them getting caught by that.
Oh, no. An SD coming out from the Flow right there.
Yeah, it went over so fast.
Yeah. I want to call out and praise Leon for something he did right at the death of that game right there. Sintro accidentally sent his own teammate in the Flow's direction, and Leon was hanging off the ledge, and he saw that this was happening and 100% capitalized on it. He capitalized on the fact that Sintro didn't realize that the Flow was lying in wait. Sorry, not the Flow. Leon was lying in wait, hanging onto the ledge, and the moment he saw his opponent get sent by his own teammate, he popped off the ledge, hit him with a back air, and he capitalized off a setup that his opponents gave him. And that's the kind of thing that really good singles players, those kinds of reactions make good singles players singles players.
Definitely is recognizing when you can do a conversion out of everything in the game. That's a very powerful thing to have. Very good skill. Oh, and we're actually going to town and city here this time.
Extra platforms for them to land on. Extra platforms to escape pressure, but the problem around that is that when you're playing against 2 swordies, like, you eventually have to use those platforms, and if they're like quite close together at any point in time, choosing which one to land on is going to be a really tough decision to make. It might be one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't situations.
It definitely is. And the interesting thing, of course, is that the platforms don't remain. We're actually getting like an FD kind of stage right now. And I do wonder how this will affect the game. Oh!
Really good recovery there from Flow.
Yeah.
Saved his final resources for the end, waited for Sintro to hit him off the stage, and just showed a tiny bit of patience to burn that up B. There we go. We seem to have found the teams reset themselves back to their original sides. Well, so that they're both on the same tide as their teammate. Nobody really wants to get sandwiched, especially between all of these projectiles or both of these sword hitboxes.
And the set is going a lot slower compared to the previous one. Like, everyone still has his first stock. like everyone's in danger percentage, and also the first stock. However, as I'm telling that, Sintro is the first one here to drop his stock, giving a nice little lead.
Yeah.
To the red team.
What we were saying earlier about sometimes it's easier just to spend any opportunity given to double team one of your opponents. The red team opted to do that against Sintro right there. They put SkWiirrel off stage and used the little break they had from SkWiirrel to double team Sintro. They wanted to get rid of that Rob stock, possibly because he's the heavier of the two or more problematic of the two in their own opinion.
Well, I can definitely see that, yeah. And meanwhile, Flo is taking on a more defensive position this time. Like he's trying to play the role of stock tank, and it's working out quite nicely. He doesn't have like a really high amount of percentage.
Oh no, that really unfortunate there from SkWiirrel. Maybe not having the presence of mind to realize that Sintro had an opportunity to take out the Flo's Crom, and he accidentally hit his own partner with a projectile, costing them that opportunity.
There we go. Flo's still racking up the damage on his first stock. Might change soon though, because this is Rob he's playing against.
Yeah.
Well, he managed actually to get it back.
Considerably large lead for the red team. Got confused there. The bled team, the red team specifically, have a considerably large lead. 3 whole stocks. There we go. Flo happy to keep Sintro pinned it over in that left-hand side. Both members of the blue team have found their way back onto stage now, unfortunately for the Reds.
And there was some nice synergy there between the Flo and Leon. Actually capitalizing off, I think it was a jab? Who might know?
I think Sintro just held out for a split second there, and he wasn't able to hold out much longer. He found himself pinned against the ledge, and you have such a large area of avoidance that you need to take notice of, an area that you need to avoid because the threat bubble of both of those characters in front of you in the 2v1 is so sinister.
It definitely is.
Anyway,
I wonder, what stage will they go to?
I would definitely expect the red team try to remove some platforms. I don't think they want to be taken to a place like that where they both have to land against all of these sword hitboxes. I feel like that's kind of what cost them that match. Maybe on top of a couple of synergistic errors on both of the red team's parts. There are a few times where one member was trying to push an advantage and the other member accidentally interrupted that. And that's kind of a bit of a communication issue.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If they're not static team partners, you're gonna see those little mishaps happen way more often. Like normally, not even normally, because normally there are little static partners. Like what happens because of that is that people will play 2 separate 1v1s most of the time.
Yep.
Instead of just trying to pass along their opponent as if it's some sort of ball game. I'm not quite sure how to call that ball game in English, where you throw the ball and one person has to go behind it, and the ball being his teammate.
Yep.
Something like that.
A bit like volleyball.
Yeah.
A bit like volleyball, a bit like ping pong.
You could say it like that. That's better. That's a lot better, yeah. But it's still one person trying to get the ball, though.
Yeah.
In between.
Contrary to what we believed when the set first started, even as two highly skilled individual players. Oh no! Did Flo burn his jump right there?
No, he did definitely now.
He's absolutely 100% just lost his stock in less than 13 seconds.
He did, and this is a huge advantage for the blue team already.
Yeah, that's the problem with Crom. The problem with using Crom in doubles, I suppose, is that you can just lose an entire stock for your team if your partner doesn't come out and save you.
Yeah, and that's definitely a reason why synergy is important as well. Because if you have the tools to actually save your opponent, especially a character like Crom, you should be using those kind of things to actually help him. But it's still difficult to go because if you want to do such a thing, there's still 2 more opponents to go through.
Yep.
Like most of the time, people say it's not worth the risk, and I can see that.
That was a really nice team up from right there from Sintro and SkWiirrel. SkWiirrel sending his can right into the back of Leon, forcing him to shield, and in the moment that he shielded, Sintro grabbed him and threw him off stage, giving his team an immense advantage in this very chaotic neutral. You need every bit of advantage you can get your hands on.
Oh, and just like that, SkWiirrel is not allowed to just throw out these projectiles, especially if they're quite laggy as well.
Nice up smash there from Sintro, taking that stock away from Leon. Both members of the red team were just jumping in, maybe overcommitting themselves a little bit more, but the Flow taking another stock from Sintro right there as well.
Like even though Flow lost its stock extremely early, it's still looking pretty even at the moment.
Every time it looks like they've got a little opportunity to press, the blue team gets stuffed out by the member of the red team that they're ignoring. That same thing doesn't seem to be happening in reverse. So I feel like the red team are covering each other far better than the other two are.
That definitely seems the case. And again,
ooh, the read on the F smash almost got him the stock right there, but he ends up losing his own stock in the inverse.
Yeah. Small comfort for the blue team, who has a small lead right now.
Flow putting his own partner into disadvantage seems to work out in the red team's favor anyway, and you see it right there again. Sintro is dealt with for a split second, and in that very moment that Sintro needs to focus on recovering, both members of the red go and double team SkWiirrel.
It's starting to look, well, how can I say, it's still really difficult to tell who is actually going to win this, because like, even though at the beginning the blue team had a huge lead, it's almost even now again.
The Reds still do need to get that final stock off of Sintro. However, they are in real trouble if SkWiirrel gets gimped at any point during this stock, because then Sintro has to give up his final stock and is on 161% himself.
Forcing the 1v2 situation.
Of course, we both know they don't want that. So it's a very deceptively small looking lead for the blue team.
If the leads have these, well, they can't just be turned around completely. Would you even consider it the lead at that point? But
and now here we go. I would say right now the momentum's completely reversed. It very much looks like the blue team have the deficit now. And now the Flow, putting on some pressure, forces Sintro off stage, and they have them right where they want them. They're both happy to hold center stage, both facing outwards.
Oh, and it's getting made difficult for him, but when the move just passes through everything. That neutral B from Rob is actually a huge help just to disrupt the current flow the other team is having.
Oh no, so now we see Sintro. He's forced into the 1v2 situation against this huge hitbox, and the red team happy both to just fade back. They don't need to commit to anything. And the moment you throw one of these members of the red team, the other is going to come in. Oh, but a massive mistake there from the Flow. He almost managed to put Leon in a really tough situation, but Leon manages to recover, and he's the one with Sintro at his mercy.
Oh, there we go. Covered.
Absolutely perfect coverage from the Flow.
I'm not even quite sure if he was supposed to do that, like if he wanted to roll, but it worked. What actually worked in such a situation? That one opponent is there, the other is there. You get on the ledge. What happens? You get grabbed or you get jabbed. Those kind of things. You try to jump. You either have to avoid one of them and then get hit by the second. You roll. Well, you saw what happened when you're starting to roll. Or if you keep on the ledge, well, you have no invincibility at all. What are you gonna do?
Well, you're sandwiched between two places that you do not really want to be at all, and you're